In 1921, a small and insignificant political party at the time, the National Socialist German Workers' Party, better known as the Nazis, developed a paramilitary organization named the SA. It had other names as well, including the Brown Shirts and the Storm Troopers, and they would eventually grow to a size of 4 million people. They recruited new members by imploring men to fight against foreign races. They were charged with creating political violence, suppressing the Jewish population, enforcing voter suppression, and establishing power through force. Alongside the SA, Hitler used an extensive amount of emergency decrees to take power. He ended multi-party elections. You could still vote, but there was only one choice. He intimidated political opponents and fired members of the civil service. By 1934, he was able to combine the offices of Chancellor and President and claim himself to be dictator of Germany. In 1922, Benito Mussolini established a paramilitary force that began their work by attacking the offices and homes of political opponents, but soon extended their work by occupying entire cities. They then began a campaign, what they called the March to Rome, to take over the capital city. They were successful, and by 1925, Mussolini was able to declare himself the dictator of Italy. Similar scenarios took place in Japan and Spain, more recently in Hungary, the Philippines, and now the USA. For more than 30 years, Protestant Unionists in Ireland fought over the identity of Northern Ireland against the Irish Republic Catholics. The fights mostly took place between paramilitary groups organized by both sides and who were determined to destroy the other. These times were known rather colloquially as the Troubles. What all these political movements have in common is exceptionalism, a belief that something is more unique, more superior, and more important than anything else. This exceptionalism can extend to a particular group of people, a race, a nation, a religion, a political party, an economic class, or a history, whether real or not. Exceptionalism says that one people, one way of behaving, one tradition is better or more important than any other, and because of that very idea, those people have the historical, religious, and moral right to dominate, intimidate, and even eliminate those who are not like them. When all these forms of exceptionalism are combined together into a political movement, it's called fascism. Such forces hunger for absolute power so that they can enforce their exceptionalism on others. They use that power to suppress all those who are different or oppose their desire for authoritarian control. They seek to use groups of people that are outside their circle of exceptionalism as representatives of their unworthy and unholy enemies. They seek to extend their ideologies as far and as forcefully as possible through fear, coercion, and harassment, believing that their actions are justified in order to spread the truth of their ideals. As Americans, we are brought up on exceptionalism. We have been taught that ours is the greatest nation, that its people are special, but mostly that we are the country who has been a beacon and model for democracy throughout the world. Of course, there's nothing wrong with being proud of who you are, except when pride becomes exceptionalism, when it does not support the rights, dignity, and respect of all the people of a nation. We have seen other countries fall to the barbaric controls of dictators and despotic rulers, but we thought that such a thing could never happen here. But the United States is not exceptional. We are not immune to devastating terrorist attacks, and we are not invulnerable to domination and abuse. To demonstrate this, we need not look just to World War II Germany, Italy, and Spain, or Japan and Hungary. We need only to turn our attention to the troubles in Minnesota, because it is happening here and now in this country. This week, the clergy of many different religious denominations, including Unitarian Universalists, went to Minneapolis, Minnesota, to bear witness and to call out the atrocities that are taking place there. Groups of people who are not part of the exceptional religion, race, and class of the ruling party are being harassed and detained. These are the troubles of Minnesota, and they are happening now. The Office of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, was created in 2002 as part of a Homeland Security Act, all in reaction to the attacks on September 11th. After the funding increase given to the Department of Homeland Security as part of the Big Beautiful Bill of 2025, ICE has now become the largest and most financed law enforcement agency in the history of the United States. They are getting military combat training. They have received specialized equipment like ballistic helmets, bulletproof clothing, sniper equipment, advanced military drones, and even guided missile warheads, as well as military-grade firearms and vehicles. They are using discrete algorithms that identify the specific location and personal information of their targets. And let's be clear here, folks, those targets are non-white people. They are building detention centers around the country that will equal, if not supersede, the level of internment used on Japanese Americans during World War II. Not unlike the black shirts of fascist Italy, they are donning black uniforms that include black masks they attach to their faces to hide the fact that they are fellow human beings. In no uncertain terms, it is clear that ICE has become a paramilitary force in service of the current administration. Exceptionalism feels justified in requiring brute force to nullify those they consider inferior and resistant. We are not talking about history. We are not talking about ancient armies or distant insurgencies. We are not talking about foreign lands or shady underworld past personalities. We are talking about right here, right now. ICE was dispatched to Minnesota because they said they wanted to capture the worst of the worst. And the worst of the worst have included U.S. citizens with no criminal records, teenagers on their way to school, innocent bystanders and witnesses, and even small children. Earlier this month, ICE agents forced their way into an apartment and detained a 17-year-old girl and her mother, while a 10-year-old girl and her mother were grabbed on their way to school. On January 7th, Renee Good was shot 3, possibly 4 times by an ICE agent as she attempted to drive away. Just last Monday, a 56-year-old U.S. citizen who had his front door broken down before he was dragged out into the streets wearing only his shorts and taken into 20-degree weather. Last Tuesday, a 5-year-old boy and his father were taken and detained, and a 17-year-old boy was forcefully removed from his car and taken away. Last Wednesday, 2 teenagers were detained, as well as 2 bystanders who questioned the brutal methods used by the agents. On Friday, a 2-year-old was detained and flown from Minnesota to Texas. And yesterday, another person was shot by ICE agents. I don't know about you, but I sleep so much better at night knowing that vicious domestic terrorists like the elderly and parents and teenagers and little children have been scooped up like trash and locked away in domestic prison camps. And shouldn't we feel safe and secure knowing that there is a paramilitary force out there who can violently nab you in the middle of the night without legal justification and send you away to a contemporary concentration camp? I'm sorry. That does not make me feel safe. What is the religious response to this insanity? To be sure, there are sects of Christianity, as well as in other religious traditions, where exceptionalism reigns as well. There are those, however, who embrace a more universalist approach to religion and its place in the world. There are those who believe that all people are equally of value and worth. There are those who care for both those who have and those who have not. There are those who accept and welcome different opinions and values, and there are those who are strongly opposed to the principle that might and fright and spite make right. Let us be those people. Let us be the ones who witness and make known the injustices and chaos and violence inflicted upon our own citizens. Let us be the ones to affirm the dignity and value of everyone, regardless of their appearance or background or identity. Let us be the ones to stand up to the troubles being instigated by our own government. Let us be the ones who will stand on the right side of history and not be left behind in a fascist culture that will inflict and impute our children and our grandchildren for generations to come. In the name of that which you hold in your heart to be most sacred,